So this was originally going to be a segment as part of a larger video about glitch productions as a whole, but I decided that Digital Circus is just way too much baggage, so I'm going to put everything, all my thoughts about it, right here in this video instead. So if you don't know about the Amazing Digital Circus, then you're lying, because of course you have. Literally everyone has, at the very least, seen it once or twice. So in case you have the memory of a goldfish, and not the goldfish animal, I actually have very long memory, I mean a goldfish cracker which has absolutely no memory, then allow me to recap everything you need to know. Amazing Digital Circus itself is an animated web series made in collaboration between Gooseworks and Glitch Productions. The story follows a small group of humans who become trapped inside of this digital video game world that turns them into goofy cartoons. Also, every character is on the brink of completely losing their sanity. Now, whenever Digital Circus first came out, I watched it as quickly as I could, as soon as I got the chance, but I was never planning on covering it, and that was for two reasons. Reason number one is that literally everyone else was covering it anyway, so it didn't really seem like that big of a priority for me. And then reason number two, the more important reason, is I just didn't really have anything to say about it at the time. At the time, I didn't really want to add to the oversaturation, especially if I didn't have anything of value to say. And then there's all the drama, all the controversy. There's drama out the wazoo with this freaking thing. There's stuff about like AI voices, content farms. I think people want one of the voice actors to be recast or something. I don't know. I don't want to touch any of that. I'm not opening that Pandora's lunchbox, that can of worms. I'm just gonna stay away from all that. Talk about the series itself on its own as a series. Now, I will say this: whenever it started getting flooded with hate, I laughed my ass off. There is nothing funnier to me than when people don't watch something but go on Twitter and rant about it anyways. I absolutely love picturing them behind their computer just going like, "No, we can't be popular. No, we don't want to be popular." Like, this is literally you. You are literally Thunder from At the End of Big Trouble in Little China when he inflates and explodes and dies. That's just actually what you are. People like this are so much fun to point and laugh at because they have this almost, I want to say, like cinema sins mindset where they're just like, I know if I pretend that I'm smart and be really cynical and not have an opinion, then it automatically makes me smarter than everyone else. Like, it's so stupid. It's such a contradiction, and I love it. Now, of course, I think that someone who likes it is valid and someone who dislikes it is valid. That's all fine and good. But again, the reason why I waited so long to cover it is I just wasn't really sure what to say about it. Something about it felt off, but I couldn't really put my finger on what. That was until recently, or somewhat recently, I was in class reading Wikipedia instead of doing my work when I stumbled upon something that just made everything click. And I finally understood what the glaring issue with Digital Circus is. And to show you what I think this issue really is, let's talk about the classic series Adventure Time. Adventure Time, to me, has always been one of the greatest world building shows out there. Sometimes it was funny, sometimes it was heartwarming, sometimes it was downright terrifying. But no matter what, it was all still the same story. Everything always related back to each other. It is why that to this very day I believe that the only thing better than a show that can make you laugh or cry is a show that can make you do both without self-sabotage. Digital Circus wants to be this type of show, but it can't, and it shouldn't. Pomni feels like a realistic depiction of how a person would actually react if they were put in this situation. but a lot of the other characters feel more like a stereotypical representation of what people think going crazy looks like. And it could be that this is early on in the series and they haven't been fleshed out yet. Yeah. I just find it really weird that whenever this character is going insane and losing their mind and suffering horrible pain, we're meant to feel bad for them. But whenever this character is losing their mind and going insane and feeling horrible pain, we're expected to laugh. And again, this could just be an early series thing. Maybe they will fix it later on, but I don't know. And going back to that thing I saw on Wikipedia, it was that the Amazing Digital Circus was actually based on I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is an incredibly dark, dystopian sci fi story about the dangers of artificial intelligence. It was written by sci fi author Scooby Doo ally Black Canary love interest James Cameron plagiarism victim Harlan Ellison. Yes, all of those things are true. Now, right off the bat, the first difference between Digital Circus and I Have No Mouth is that I Have No Mouth is nowhere near as bubbly or colorful or fun as the Amazing Digital Circus. I Have No Mouth doesn't have goofy jokes or witty comebacks or anything like that, and that's not really to say that the jokes in Digital Circus are bad, but that's also not really to say that I Have No Mouth is all doom and gloom either. At one point, the group is trying to climb a mountain to get to a supply of canned food while fighting off a giant thunderbird. And they succeed. They actually do get past the bird, they make it to the can. It is this brief moment of triumph, only for them to realize that they have nothing to open the can with. Or take, for example, the iconic "Hate, let me tell you how much I have come to hate" monologue. It begins with Am explaining how nature and the world around us is such a beautiful, miraculous place, but him, as a machine, is unable to properly experience and live in all of that miraculous beauty. Thus, he has been driven by hate to torture the last remaining humans for all eternity. So, what I'm trying to show here with these two examples is that in I Have No Mouth, there are still moments of levity, moments of calm or triumph, but they're always very brief, they're fleeting, and they're there to set up bigger, much more impactful defeats later on. And that really is the ultimate flaw with the Amazing Digital Circus. It wants to be this profound existential nightmare, but it also wants to have fun and be silly and have chase scenes with the gloinks, but you just can't do that. Some things just are simply too dark or too messed up to even try to balance with that type of humor. Now, one of the very first things that I caught on to when watching The Amazing Digital Circus is that this world they're in, it's like a kids show. There's a simple moral they need to learn, there's a theme song, and every day they do the same old thing over and over again, and it's very repetitive. And TV shows for little kids tend to be very repetitive. A famous example of this is Blue's Clues, which would air the same episode over and over again for a full week. That way, kids can figure out the mystery on their own and catch on to things on their own and learn from all the clues. And so the repetition of the kids show is actually meant to be an example or parallel to the repetition and, by an extent, meaninglessness of human life. And what I think the show needs to succeed in the future is to really lean into things, really show us why we should be scared of the digital circus. Zubul mentions that they're permanently stuck in their new bodies, so lean into that. What is it like to go from having flesh and blood to losing it all and becoming this cartoon character constantly falling apart? It's hinted that Kinger used to have a wife, but she died or abstracted or whatever, so lean into that. Have the audience kind of see him as the comic relief character, then reveal this incredibly tortured backstory, kind of trick them into feeling guilty about seeing him that way. Kaufmo abstracted when no one expected him to. Lean into that. show how maybe just because someone looks like they're okay on the outside, they actually are still going through a lot of pain deep down, but they just keep hiding it and burying it all away. Pomni can't even remember her own name. Every person here had friends, family, an entire life that is now gone forever. Give us a reason. Show us why the circus is to be feared, why it's a place we don't want to be. The digital circus is as torturous and inescapable as the realization of the inevitability of death itself. And when life is this repetitive mess, we are stuck with people you hate in a body you can't choose. All you can really do is just hang out with your homies. To be completely honest, though, I think they probably will fix a lot of these issues later on. It is pretty, like, basic writing to have a character appear one dimensional at first and then explore their personality later down the line. So I guess this video is just the prediction, expectation of what I hope to see in the future releases of the Digital Circus. And I guess we'll see, is it going to continue at the same quality or will it improve? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I'll check back and we'll see. Is it gonna be on par with I Have No Mouth? Is it gonna be just okay, which it probably will be? Or is it gonna suck? I don't know. We'll see. We'll wait. But man, am I glad I made this video. To think all of this could have just been summed up in like 2 sentences. Ugh. So yeah, I will be doing another video on Glitch later down the line. Um, you know what, let's not kid ourselves, it's a Murder Drones video. I'm finally going to review Murder Drones. I've been waiting so long. I think like the finale is gonna be coming out pretty soon, so that's why I haven't started yet. But it's coming, okay? It's coming. Calm down. But until then, this has been Bradworst, signing off. Smile, even though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness.